Welcome back to The Explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled you're here today because we're diving into one of my all-time favorite topics, the actual mechanics of language. More specifically, we're getting into intermediate English grammar. Now listen, if you're joining me today, chances are you've already crushed the beginner levels. You know the basics. You know that if you want to describe an action, you usually just take an adjective and slap an ly right on the end of it, right? Quick becomes quickly, slow becomes slowly. It's a great rule, and honestly, it gets you pretty far. But since you are well past that beginner stage, it's officially time to level up. Today's explainer is all about giving your sentences way more precision, a lot more flavor, and dead-on accuracy.
So let's just get right into it. Do you think all adverbs end in Y? I really want to challenge your beginner instincts right out of the gate here. While that simple lie rule is a fantastic starting point, the intermediate rules are a little bit trickier. But don't worry, they are completely masterable. We're going to break them down together so you can start sounding so much more natural and sophisticated whether you're speaking or writing.
Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. First up, frequency, basically, how often. Then, degree, how much. And finally, we'll tackle those tricky irregular adverbs. All right, section 1, frequency, how often. These adverbs are going to be our very first power-up today. You absolutely recognize these everyday examples. Always, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, and never. We hear these words literally all the time. But just recognizing them isn't the intermediate part. Knowing exactly where to drop them into a sentence, that is where the real skill comes in.
And this is where it gets super interesting. We actually have two distinct rules for positioning these frequency adverbs, and your placement completely depends on the type of verb you're using. Rule A tells us that the adverb goes right before the main action verb. But Rule B? Rule B tells us that if you're using the to be verb, is, are, am, was, were, that adverb actually has to come after it.
Let's look at some highly relatable examples to actually see those rules in action. For Rule A, think about the sentence, I always drink coffee in the morning. Our main verb is drink, so we drop the adverb right before it. Always drink. You hear how perfectly natural that sounds? But then, think about Rule B. Our verb here is, a form of the to be verb. So the adverb shifts over to the other side. She is never late for class. This brilliant little shift illustrates exactly why English can feel confusing at first, but also how wonderfully logical it becomes once you just know the structural formula.
Moving right along to section 2, degree, how much? These are the adverbs that let us totally control the intensity of our sentences. We've got some really common examples here, very, to, quite, almost, and completely. I want you to think of these words exactly like volume dials on a speaker. You can use them to strengthen a meaning, cranking that volume all the way up, or you can use them to weaken a meaning and turn the volume down. They are all about giving your statements that perfect touch of nuance.
Now, the absolute best part is that adverbs of degree are incredibly versatile. They don't just modify verbs. Notice how they can actually operate in 3 totally different grammatical scenarios. First, they can dial up an adjective. The test was difficult is a pretty standard statement, but the test was very difficult, that adds some real stress and intensity. Second, they can modify verbs. I completely forgot about the meeting. The word completely just cranks up the totality of that action. And third, and I swear this blows a lot of people's minds, adverbs can actually modify other adverbs. So, he speaks softly becomes he speaks quite softly. You literally have the adverb quite sitting right there adjusting the dial on the adverb softly. It's amazing.
Okay, here we go. Section 3, tricky irregular adverbs.
Take a deep breath because this is definitely the boss battle of today's explainer.
Let's compare some adjectives with their adverb forms. As we hinted at earlier, not all adverbs end in "ly." In fact, some words transform entirely, while others are super deceptive and stay exactly the same. We're going to tackle 3 main culprits right now: good versus well, fast versus fast, and hard versus hard.
Let's kick things off with a notorious rule breaker. He plays piano good. Now, you will hear native speakers say this all the time, but grammatically speaking, it's an error. Good is an adjective. Its job is to describe nouns. To describe the action of playing the piano, we need the adverb form, which transforms completely into a brand new word. The correct sentence is, he plays piano well. That right there is an essential upgrade for your intermediate toolkit.
Next up, we have a word that absolutely loves to do double duty. The adjective form is fast, as in, she is a fast runner. You're describing the noun, the runner. So if we want to describe the verb, how she runs, our beginner brains immediately want to say fastly. Just slap on that "ly," right? But the word fastly simply does not exist in the English dictionary. It is a phantom word. Instead, fast stays exactly the same. The correct adverb form is simply, she runs fast. And you know what? Just like fast, the word hard behaves the exact same way. It doesn't change its spelling at all when it upgrades from an adjective to an adverb of effort. You can have a hard job, where hard is the adjective describing the job, and if you want to describe the intense effort you put into the verb work, you just say, he works hard. It is incredibly straightforward once you realize the word isn't going to suddenly change on you.
But wait, watch out. There is a massive trap hiding right beneath the surface here. You might be thinking, hang on, I know the word hardly. I hear people say it all the time. And you absolutely have. But hardly is a completely different word. If you take the word hard and slap an ly onto it, you are no longer describing hard work. You are actually creating a word that means almost not at all. Think about it. If you say, I hardly worked today, you are flat out confessing that you did almost zero work. It completely flips the meaning upside down, so you have to be very, very careful with that one.
To wrap things up today, I want to leave you with one final challenge. Can you fix this sentence, he works hardly on his fastly car? Think about everything we've covered today. You got it? The correct sentence is, he works hard on his fast car, because hard is our irregular adverb for effort, and fast is our adjective describing the car. Boom! By mastering these rules of frequency, degree, and irregularity, your English is going to sound incredibly polished. But hey, language is always evolving, right? So what other hidden grammar rules are hiding in plain sight, just waiting to be broken? Thanks so much for joining me on The Explainer.